Jai Gurudev. So, how does the ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam enhance the experiential depth of Art of Living's flagship course, the Happiness Program? Yes, the Happiness Program introduces participants to Sudarshan Kriya, a rhythmic breathing technique that clears stress and toxins from the body. When paired with chanting of this ninth verse, the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam Pathantiye Manoharam, before or after the Kriya, it deepens the energetic verification. Gurudev has said that chanting ancient Sanskrit stotras like this activates the subtle energy centers or chakras and allows for effortless meditation. In workshops, we guide participants to chant this verse slowly with awareness. They report a shift, less anxiety, deeper meditations, and spontaneous sense of surrender. The mantra prepares the inner field for silence, making the Sudarshan Kriya even more effective. Now, how does this verse apply in advanced art of living programs like Sahat Samadhi or silence retreats? Yes, Sahat Samadhi is a natural, effortless meditation based on a personalized mantra. The Kalabhairava Ashtakam, especially the ninth verse, complements this practice by stabilizing the mind and making it more receptive to the subtle mantra vibration. Before Sahat sessions, many teachers encourage gentle chanting of the verse to settle participants into a sacred space. In silence retreats, chanting this verse in the mornings during group sessions brings a stillness that runs deeper than words. Shoka, moha, kopa, emotional residues get released easily. Silence becomes healing, not just restful. Gurudev reminds us that sound clears the mind and silence deepens the soul. Is this verse taught or included in the Art of Living's Blessing course or Sanyam program? If so, how does it support healing and intuitive development? Absolutely. The Blessings course, where participants learn how to become instruments of divine healing energy, aligns deeply with this verse. The ninth verse speaks of Viktra Punya Vardhanam, or the increase of unique merits. Blessings arise from a purified heart and sharp intuition. Chanting this verse before or after giving blessings enhances the healer's receptivity, reduces ego interference, and evokes the fearless energy of Bhairava to protect both the healer and the receiver. In Sayam program of level 1 and level 2, a program that refines perception and deepens silence, this verse becomes a companion in their inner journey. The emotional cleanse it provides is essential before one can access subtle intuitive states. From the Vedic Dhamsansan perspective, how can this verse be integrated into traditional practices like Trikal Sandhya, Agnikaram, or Upanayam? The ninth verse fits seamlessly into our daily Trikals and their rituals after Gayatri Japa. Chanting this verse helps dissolve inner agitation, aligning the practitioner with the protective essence and presence of Akala Bhairava for Agnikaram, which involves sacred fire offerings. This verse can be offered into the fire 8 times, matching the Ashtakam format, invoking protection from subtle afflictions during Upanayam ceremonies. We teach young brahmacharinis that this verse as a daily chant. It guards their minds from lobha, kopa, and moha, ensuring their study of Vedas is supported by inner clarity. And strength. Bhairava becomes both guardian and guide of the initiate. In Art of Living Seshish Yoga and Wellness programs, how can the chanting of this verse enhance the experience of the body mind connection? Yes, yoga is not just physical flexibility, it's about integrating body, breath, and consciousness. In Shishi Yoga, we sometimes introduce chanting of this ninth verse at the end of asana sessions after physical stretches. The verse feels like an energetic closure, a sacred seal of stillness. Participants report that it brings grounding and a deeper sense of protection in wellness retreats. Chanting this verse aloud in a group amplifies the healing field. Whether you are in Shavasana or Padma Asana, the vibrational power of the verse stabilizes prana and centers the mind. Gurudev says chanting is yoga for the tongue, breath, and brain. Can you elaborate on the role of this verse in seva oriented art of living and Sansthan projects such as Gift a Smile or tribal and rural outreach? Yes, in seva projects, volunteers often face discouragement, fatigue, or conflict. The ninth verse acts like spiritual armor. Volunteers are encouraged to chant it daily to release emotional burdens. In tribal outreach, where art of living combines Vedic knowledge with skill development, the verse introduces villagers to the healing power of sound. We have seen people move from trauma and grief to peace and dignity simply through chanting and listening. Gurudev encourages us to carry spiritual practices into seva. This is where spirituality becomes practical compassion. Bhairav's energy anchors the server in fearlessness, especially in challenging or under resource settings. How does the Vedic Dhamsansan use this verse in its teaching of Rudrabhishekam, Chandi Homam, or Kalbhaiva Shanti rituals? In Rudrabhishekam, this verse is chanted in the final offering to honor the Kala Bhairava, protector of Shiva's secrets during Chandihomam, especially in Ashtami Tithis. This verse is offered with black sesame into the fire to remove planetary afflictions. And in a turmoil, in Kala Bhairav Shanti Pujas, which we conduct for those facing time based karmic obstacles, Kala Dosha, this verse is central. It's chanted 108 times after Bhairava Mula Mantra to cleanse emotional residue. Bhairav's presence becomes more tangible with each chant, bringing stillness, protection, and spiritual progression. This is a Pratyaksha Devata sadhana, direct experience, not theory. Lastly, can Art of Living teachers and Sansan priests collaborate to offer this verse as a lifestyle practice across households, schools, and offices and universities? That's already beginning. We now have a movement where Art of Living and Vedic Sansan collaborate to teach the Yes Plus courses. The ninth verse of the Kalabhairava Ashtakam is offered as the entry point. Easy to learn, powerfully effective, and universally applicable. In households, it becomes part of morning rituals. In schools, children chanted with the Gayatri for clarity and fearlessness. In offices, it's used to open Monday meetings, setting a vibration of purpose and protection. Gurudev says, bring the sacred into the ordinary, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. This verse helps to do exactly that. Now, how can IT professionals, especially those handling code, algorithms, and AI, benefit from chanting or meditating on this verse in their daily routine? In the world of information technology, the mind is constantly engaged in logic, complexity, and abstract thought. This leads to mental fatigue, emotional disconnection, and a narrowing of perception. Gurudev teaches that to be truly effective in technology, one needs both focus and intuitive sharpness. The ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam purifies mental noise, Shloka, Moha, and Tapa, which IT professionals often carry unconsciously. Chanting this verse before beginning coding sessions or after work hours activates the subtle brain circuits, improves the decision making, and enhances insight. Over time, coders report not just fewer bugs, but smoother teamwork, deeper creativity, and a calmer baseline mood. What about IT support roles such as service techs or network monitoring, where people work with high urgency and alerts? These roles carry a burden of vigilance similar to Agni Upasana or fire watching in the Vedic tradition. Chanting this verse every 2 hours or silently repeating it during idle monitoring time transforms routine into sacred watchfulness. The line Prayanti Kal Bhairavam Vagri Santiti Naradhruvam reminds us that every alert can be met with patience and groundedness. IT service teams who adopt this verse as a soft background chant in their operations room notice fewer escalations and more coordinated interventions. In ancient temples, Bhairava was the guardian of time, so in today's 24/7 tech environments, invoking him protects energy, enhances presence, and wards off burnout, Jagadev. Now let's shift to Seva at the information desk or reception at an Art of Living center. How can chanting this verse support the Sevak to stay calm, alert, and compassionate while managing queries, guests, and sometimes even conflicts? Reception Seva is the first point of vibration in any spiritual space. The way a guest is welcomed can determine their whole experience. The ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam, when chanted by information desk Sevak before starting their day, helps dissolve a kopa or irritation, lobha or personal agenda, and moha or emotional bias. Gurudev always emphasizes. Be centered before you serve. We train reception sevaks to close their eyes for 2 minutes every hour, chant this verse silently, and visualize Bhairava at the door not as a deity to fear, but as a guardian of sacred time and sacred presence. This transforms the reception desk into a portal of protection, precision, and peace. How can central HR teams, especially those handling onboarding, grievances, or team wellness, apply this verse in their daily processes? HR in any dharmic organization must balance structure with heart. The ninth verse holds the vibrational key to this balance. The line Jnana Mukta Sadhanam Vichitra Punya Vardhanam indicates that the verse enhances both clarity and spiritual merit. We advise HR teams to begin daily operations with the group chanting of this verse, even if silently during onboarding. It can be softly played in the background or included as a welcome audio. When handling sensitive grievances, repeating this verse helps the HR Sevak stay free from personal reaction, ensuring decisions are dharma based. In a traditional temples, Bhairava was invoked before any karmic record was altered. HR is today's karmic space manager, and this verse is their energetic shield. At the main entrance or welcome desk of a large art living center or ashram, how can the sevak apply this verse in every interaction, especially with the anxious or first time visitors? First time visitors may carry stress, doubt, or expectation. The welcome sevak is their first human contact, a bridge between the outer world and the sacred space of the Art of Living International Center in Bangalore Ashram. Chanting this ninth verse before the seva shift is like putting on an invisible aura of Bhairava. When a visitor walks in, they are energetically embraced by stillness, not just information. The line Shoka Moha Danya Lobha Kopatana Pashanam works subtly, removing their inner burdens even before they speak. Gurudev says that seva begins in silence. We teach sevaks to silently chant this verse in their breath while smiling, listening, and offering directions. The result, guests leave the desk not only informed but transformed. What happens when this verse is collectively chanted in the IT room, HR block, and a reception before a big event at the center? When the verse is collectively chanted, the space becomes consecrated. Bhairava is not just a destroyer of negativity, he is a Kshetra Palaka, the guardian of spiritual field. In our Vedic understanding, such group chanting clears Vyahudoshas, chaotic energy fields, and brings Vyavastha or cosmic order. For big events, we guide staff and sevaks to chant this ninth verse as a group of 11 rounds in the early morning. Immediately, you will sense clarity, coherence, and grace. Guests arrive on time, tech runs smoothly, sevaks are smiling, and even crises feel manageable. Bhairav's energy streamlines all operations while keeping the soul of the event protected and awake. Can this verse be digitized and integrated into an IT help desk, a chatbot, reception kiosk, or a visitor badge system? That's a beautiful idea. Technology with spirit. Imagine this: the help desk chatbot begins its greeting with a few Sanskrit syllables from the ninth verse and its English meaning. A digital reception kiosk plays the verse softly in the background, creating a calming first impression. Visitors' badges could have a QR code linking to the verses, audio sung by Bhanumati Narasimhanji, allowing visitors to feel the ashram's energy even before reaching their room. Gurudev often says technology is sacred when infused with consciousness. Embedding this verse into tech creates sacred utility, serving both function and soul. So, how can youth doing seva in IT, reception, or welcome teams be trained to carry this verse in their hearts while keeping their actions efficient and professional? Youth brings energy, the verse gives them direction. We encourage a 3 minute morning ritual: light a diya, chant the ninth verse thrice, sit in stillness for 1 minute. This anchors the day. For tech savvy youth, we distribute the verse as wallpapers, WhatsApp reminders, and playlist audio. Before seva, they chant once as a sankalpa. We remind them Bhairava doesn't ask you to renounce efficiency, he asks you to sanctify it. When youth realize that seva is not work but worship, this verse becomes their silent companion. Every keyboard stroke, every welcome becomes a mantra offering. Now, how can students incorporate the chanting or reflection on this verse to improve their academic focus and emotional resilience? Students today face tremendous pressure from academics, competition, and social expectations. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji emphasizes that true learning arises from a peaceful and receptive mind. The ninth verse of the Kaal Ashtakam acts like a spiritual mental cleanser. Its chanting purifies shoka or grief, moha or confusion, and danya or self-doubt, and kopa or irritation, all common emotional blocks that disrupt concentration. Students who practice chanting this verse, even for 5 minutes daily, experience greater mental clarity, improved memory retention, and an ability to face exams and challenges without anxiety. This creates an inner sanctuary for knowledge to take root and flourish. What role does this verse play in the development of character and values among young learners? Yes, young character formation is the foundation for a successful life. In Vedic tradition, dharma or righteousness arises naturally when the mind is clear and emotions are balanced. The Kalabhairavashtakam, especially the ninth verse, encourages the destruction of lobha or greed, tapa or mental agitation, and moha or delusion. When young learners chant or meditate on this verse, they internalize values like fearlessness, integrity, and emotional balance. We often integrate this verse into daily prayers in gurukuls and schools following Vedic ethos. It works as a silent moral compass, helping students choose right over convenience and face life's complexities with courage. How can teachers and mentors use this verse to create a positive learning environment and support student success? Teachers often carry unseen burdens of stress, judgment, and fatigue, which can impact their teaching quality. Chanting the ninth verse of the Kala Bhairav Ashtakam before classes or mentoring sessions helps teachers shed personal biases and emotional heaviness. Gurudev teaches that when teachers come from a place of stillness and compassion, learning happens effortlessly. This verse helps calm the mind, dissolve impatience, and cultivate patience and empathy. It creates a subtle atmosphere of safety and inspiration in the classroom. Educators can also encourage group chanting or silent repetition before exams or presentations to boost collective calm and confidence for professionals and young career aspirants. How can this verse guide them toward both external success and internal fulfillment? A success without inner fulfillment is incomplete. The ninth verse reminds aspirants that true progress is the goal of knowledge and liberation, jnana and moksha. In today's context, this translates into balancing career achievements with spiritual growth and mental well-being. Chanting this verse regularly cultivates resilience against stressors like despair and kopa or anger, which can sabotage careers. It also enhances virtues like clarity, ethical discernment, and fearless decision making, all essential for leadership and entrepreneurship. Professionals who incorporate this verse into their daily routine report greater job satisfaction and harmonious relationships. How does this verse align with modern concepts of emotional intelligence and mindfulness? The verse's focus on destroying Shoka, Moha, and Kopa parallels the core of emotional intelligence, managing sorrow, confusion, and anger skillfully. Through chanting and contemplation, practitioners become more aware of their inner emotional states and learn to transform negative patterns into clarity and calmness. Gurudev's teachings emphasize mindfulness as the key to emotional mastery. The vibrations of this verse act as a mindfulness anchor, bringing one's attention to the present moment and steadying the emotional flux. This builds emotional intelligence naturally, allowing for better communication, conflict resolution, and leadership. Can you suggest practical ways why students and professionals can integrate this verse into their daily activities and schedules without overwhelming their routine? Integration is key. We recommend simple, consistent habits. Begin the day with 3 repetitions of the ninth verse, followed by a brief breath awareness or Sudarshan Kriya. For grounding, a silent internal chanting or listening to the verse's audio in Bhanumati Narasimhan's Jesus voice helps recenter during stressful work or study sessions. End the day by chanting the verse or meditating on its meaning, releasing the day's stress and preparing for restful sleep. So, how do art of living courses support learners and professionals in applying such ancient wisdom in practical, measurable ways? Our courses focus on experiential learning tools like Sudarshan Kriya, Pranayama, meditation, and mantra chanting, including verses like this, provide measurable outcomes in stress reduction, concentration, and emotional balance. We share testimonials and scientific research showing reduced anxiety, improved sleep, and enhanced cognitive performance. Beyond tools, we teach the why, the meaning behind verses, inspiring participants to live consciously. This blend of ancient wisdom and modern science empowers learners and professionals to not just survive but thrive in their academic and career paths. So, how does chanting this verse support completing even the most mundane or repetitive tasks with enthusiasm and focus? The mind often rebels against repetition and monotony, yet mastery lies in consistent execution. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankarji often says, when awareness is present, even the smallest task becomes sacred. The ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam, with its invocation of jnana or wisdom and mukti or liberation, acts as an energy catalyst. When you chant it before beginning your daily chores or work routine, it resets your emotional field, removing laziness or tamas and agitation or rajas. What remains is calm, focused sattva. Even sweeping the floor, replying to emails, or data entry becomes a meditative, fulfilling act when performed in the energy of this verse. How does the verse help when facing complex, high stakes, or multi layered tasks that involve pressure and uncertainty? In Vedic wisdom, complexity is not a problem, it's an opportunity for Adhyatma Bhavana or spiritual insight. The ninth verse's emphasis on destroying the Shoka or mental sorrow and Moha or confusion and Tapa or agitation is crucial here. Complex tasks, whether it's launching a project, writing a book, or conducting a marriage ceremony, often paralyze the mind due to over analysis or fear of failure. Chanting this verse beforehand brings clarity, grace, and divine support. Just as Kala Bhairava removes the spiritual blockages, he removes project blockages, technical, mental, or interpersonal. We recommend Vedic professionals or priests chant this verse before beginning any large task. The results speak for themselves. Now, can you explain how this verse helps remove procrastination, indecisiveness, and the tendency to abandon tasks midway? These three, procrastination, indecision, and abandonment, stem from emotional interference and lack of inner clarity. Gurudev teaches that when energy is low, confusion reigns. When prana is high, clarity flows. Chanting the ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam lifts prana. The verse destroys inner moha or mental fog and danya or hopelessness. When chanted before approaching a stuck or delayed task, it activates the third eye or the Agya Chakra, giving intuitive direction and courage to proceed. Repeating this verse daily also builds a samsara or habit of completion. What begins gets closed. This is a true yogic work ethic. How can this verse help improve coordination and teamwork in completing shared tasks or group projects? Coordination arises not just from communication but from Sanyama, our shared field of consciousness. When teams chant this verse together, be it before an event, a meeting, or a group puja, Guru Puja, it aligns their intentions and clears ego based disturbances. The phrase Vichitra Punya Vardhanam refers to the increase of rare merit. This also applies to team dynamics. When ego dissolves, merit multiplies. In our temple renovation projects or large yagya arrangements, we start with this verse. It dissolves group stress and binds hearts with one shared sankalpa. Even corporate teams who do this chanting before product launches or brainstorming sessions report smoother collaboration and faster decisions. Now, can this verse help develop skill or kushalta and excellence or uttamta in whatever one is doing, even if the task is totally new or unfamiliar? Yes, Gurudev teaches that every skill becomes sharper when done with awareness and a silent mind. The ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam creates that silence, whether it's learning a new software, doing carpentry, speaking in public, or performing surgery. When done in the energetic field of this verse, the task gets infused with clarity and mastery. This verse clears kopa or impatience, which is the enemy of skill development, and loba or overeagerness for success, which sabotages learning. Chanting before practicing something new makes the process joyful, not judgmental. Excellence emerges naturally from joy, not pressure. What if a person is facing repeated failure in completing tasks? Does this verse help rebuild confidence and restart the effort? In Vedic psychology, repeated failure can create an imprint of danya or worthlessness. The ninth verse addresses exactly this. It removes that samskara, replacing it with divine strength. Kala Bhairava represents Kala or time mastery. So when you chant this verse, you begin to act at the right time, in the right direction, with the right mindset. We advise those facing failure to do a 21-day sankalpa. Chant this verse 11 times at sunrise and sunset visualizing Bhairav's feet. Add one act of focused effort daily. Slowly, outer obstacles all fall away and inner willpower becomes unshakable. Confidence rooted in Bhairava is unbreakable. Can this verse be applied to creative tasks like writing, music, or innovation where inspiration is key? Absolutely. Creativity is not just a mental act, it's a flow of consciousness. The ninth verse unlocks that flow. Artists, writers, and inventors often face creative blocks. This verse clears them. The key is to chant and then sit in silence for 5 minutes, allowing Bhairav's presence to ignite your inner fire or tejas. Gurudev has often said that true creativity arises from the quiet mind. We have musicians and designers in the Art of Living community who chant this verse before every performance or design session. They report entering into a deeper intuitive state where ideas come effortlessly, guided by an unseen intelligence. What is the ideal spiritual productive mindset this verse builds, and how does that help in doing things efficiently? This verse cultivates the bhava or devotion, the buddhi of clarity, and the kriya of action. When these three align intention, intellect, and effort, any task becomes efficient. Efficiency isn't about speed alone, It's about the absence of internal friction. By removing tapa or restlessness and moha or wandering mind, the verse creates an inner samatva, a balanced space. From here, you do not only what is needed in the most direct way without drama or delay. This is a karma yoga in action. You become an instrument of Bhairava, not attached to results yet fully responsible in action. This is the secret to both peace and performance. Can you share a practical step by step protocol for applying this verse before undertaking any important task? Yes, sit quietly, close your eyes, observe your breath, chant the ninth verse of the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam 3 to 11 times, visualize Bhairav's luminous form at the task space or computer, blessing the action. Silently affirm your task. I offer this action at the feet of Bhairava. May it be skillful, complete, and useful. Begin the task with full attention, keeping the mantra softly in awareness as you work. Repeat this for any task, be it coding, filing, healing, speaking, designing, or resolving conflict. Over time, you will feel Bhairava working through you. Now, what is soul consciousness or Rama consciousness, and how does this ninth verse support access to that inner state? Soul consciousness is a state where one identifies not with the limited body mind complex but with the unchanging eternal self, the Atman, His Holiness. Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji calls this our true home. Rama consciousness is the embodiment of soul consciousness expressed through perfect dharma, awareness, wisdom, and right action. The ninth verse of Kal Bhairava Ashtakam describes how chanting these verses leads to Jnana Mukti Sadhanam, the path of knowledge and liberation. This verse doesn't just purify emotions of Shoka, Moha, and Kopa. It reveals the substratum beneath them, the soul untouched by sorrow or time, the very seat of Rama. How does the journey of the Ramayana mirror the human mind, and how can this verse awaken that inner journey? Ramayana is not only historical, it is internal. Ayodhya is your heart, Rama is your soul, Sita is your inner purity, and Lakshman is your disciplined intellect or awareness. Hanuman is your breath, and Ravana is your ego. When the mind wanders, Sita or purity is kidnapped by Ravana or ego. Rama or the soul awakens and begins the inner journey to reclaim purity. The ninth verse of Kala Bhairava Ashtakam supports its Antaryatra or inner Ramayana by destroying all the objects of Lobha, Kopa, Tapa, the ten-headed Ravana inside. With consistent chanting, the intellect becomes like Lakshmana, sharp and loyal. The breath becomes like Hanumana, devoted and powerful, and the soul reclaims the kingdom of inner silence. How can chanting this verse help dissolve emotional wounds and karmic impressions of vasanas that cloud the soul? Every incomplete emotion leaves the residue. These vasanas over lifetimes become the dark forest we must cross, our own Dandakaranya. Gurudev teaches that powerful Sanskrit chants like this act as manashuddhi, cleansing the subtle layers of the mind. The ninth verse acts like Rama's arrow, piercing through knots of fear, grief, and regret. When chanted with awareness, it triggers emotional detox. Many meditators report crying, lightness, or deep inner silence after this verse. These are signs of klesha dissolving. As these impressions are cleared, soul consciousness emerges naturally. The chant becomes the bridge like the Ram Setu between the restless mind and the serene soul. Now, can you explain the spiritual psychology behind Prayanti Kala Bhairabhav Singhanati Naradhruvavam, that one reaches the feet of a Kala Bhairava surely? Yes, in Vedantic terms, Yes, in Vedantic terms, Bhairava Angri Sanidhi means emerging into the field of pure time awareness, where ego dissolves and only the soul remains. Kala Bhairava is not just a deity outside, he is the fire within that burns illusion. Gurudev says, Bhairava is that state where all fear ends and truth alone shines. To reach his feet is to surrender identity to reality. In inner Ramayana terms, this is when Ram's arrow strikes Ravana's chest, illusions collapse, soul shines. This line is assurance. Those who chant sincerely, even amid worldly life, will surely reach that inner temple where Bhairava guards the threshold to pure being. How can this verse be used as a daily meditation practice to stay established in soul consciousness throughout a busy day? After Sudarshan Kriya or Pranayama, sit for 3 to 5 minutes, chant the ninth verse aloud or mentally. Let the vibration settle, and during a break or between meetings, close your eyes, chant one silently, and feel your awareness expand beyond your role and task. Before bed, chant tries reflect on what in the day came from the soul and what came from ego. Both offer both at Bhairav's feet. Over weeks, a shift occurs. You act, speak, and decide not from habit, but from centered awareness. Gurudev calls this Nitya Ramasthiti, the unshakable presence of a soul consciousness amidst action. So, how does the art of living, says Sahat Samadhi meditation technique, complement this verse for spiritual awakening? Sahat Samadhi is effortless transcendence. This verse acts like a tuning fork, preparing the subtle body to receive the mantra. We have found that when participants chant the ninth verse just before a Sahaj meditation session, the mind settles faster. The line Vichitra Punya Vardhana means it increases mysterious merit in Sahaj terms. This is the deepening of samskara shuddhi or subtle purification without effort. The verse helps clear subconscious patterns so the mantra can take root at deeper levels, leading to profound silence. That silence is soul consciousness. Rama dwells in that silence, not as form but as presence. Is there a way to interpret the Kala Bhairava Ashtakam itself as a journey from the outer ego to Rama into Rama consciousness? That's a beautiful question. Yes, and each of the eight verses removes a specific ego aspect. It could be fear and insecurity, or attachment to pleasure, over identification with intellect, emotional volatility, identity pride, or sensory overload, or time anxiety and regret, spiritual arrogance. Then comes the ninth verse, the surrender. It says, now that I have removed these, I can finally reach the feet of Bhairava. But that foot is none other than of Ram's. Rama's is the essence of time, dharma, and compassion. The Skala Bhairava Ashtakam is a map from egoic dispersion to soul-centered unity. It's the internal Ramayana's silent text. Can this verse help those who feel disconnected from their path or who have lost spiritual focus? More than ever, in times of doubt or spiritual dryness, the mind seeks answer. The mind seeks anchors. This verse is such an anchor. It doesn't require elaborate rituals, just sincerity and rhythm. Chanting it daily rebuilds your inner temple. Gurudev often reminds us when the light is hidden, chant. The sound will bring it back. This verse rekindles your connection to source. It silences internal noise, so your intuition speaks again. You may begin by chanting mechanically, but over days the inner Rama awakens gentle, clear, loving, and strong. He waits behind the clouds of confusion. This verse is the wind that clears those clouds. What final message would you offer for someone yearning to enter and remain in Rama consciousness in daily life? Remember, Ram is not outside. He is a Nityasthita, eternally present in you. Kalabhairava is the guardian of that realization. He burns what separates you from that truth. The ninth verse is a direct invitation to return to be Rama amidst the marketplace, the boardroom, the classroom, and the kitchen. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Chant, sit, breathe, serve. Let the verse dissolve the falls and reveal the flame. When you reach the feet of Bhairava, you will realize you never left the feet of Rama. They are the same. The soul is home. The Ramayana is now. Jai Gurudev.